The Doom franchise is arguably one of the most iconic gaming franchises ever created. Spanning nearly 20 years and starting in 1993, it has had multiple iterations and multiple titles, but the question is, what are my favourite Doom levels? So, in this top 10 list today, I'm going to be listing what are my top 10 favourite classic Doom maps. Now, there is one quick disclaimer. I am focusing on Ultimate Doom, so the first Doom, Doom 2, and Final Doom. I will not be including Doom 64 because that was originally an exclusive Nintendo game and it's only this year been made available by PC. Also, in fairness, I did try Doom 64. It's not bad, but I don't think it can compare in the same way to the original Doom levels. So, without further ado, let's start the list and see what has made the cut. Number 10, Cyberden, the Plutonium Experiment, Final Doom. So this level, you are tasked with basically going back and forth between multiple switches and also clearing out in the process 4 cyberdemons, hence the name Cyberden. The layout does create some challenging scenarios when it comes to the cyberdemons because in the center you haven't actually got too much space to move about. And there isn't really that many areas where you can like sneak around the corner. The only time is maybe when you're a little bit further in the level and then you raise the steps eventually for the yellow key. The only annoying thing about this map is in the original version, and same with a further map later on, there is a little bit of an error because for some reason every time I play it the last step never activates, so you always have to use no clip, which is a little bit frustrating. But other than that, if I gloss past that, then it's perfectly fine. So yes, this level is challenging. It usually takes me multiple attempts to complete. And yeah, it's definitely a challenging one. And it's one I always see myself coming back to in the future. Number 9, Refueling Base, Doom 2. So this is one of those levels which on the first look you think it's not actually that hard, but you might notice a bit of a trend in this video is that some of the levels aren't exactly the big heavy hitters. With this level I enjoy it because it's not the hardest level to play overall, but if you're not paying attention it can still kill you, especially if you wander into the room of zombie soldiers, because there are a lot of zombie soldiers in there. And they are all pointing a gun at you. And yes, they will kill you if you're not paying attention. Also, this has quite a lot of hidden secrets, which it's always nice finding secrets. You can also get a cyberdemon on this level if you have the difficulty increased. But most of the time, you'll find a Baron of Hell, along with 2 invulnerabilities. The other thing I like about this, the design of the map, is it actually has a lot of dark areas. So it can catch you off guard in some of the dark rooms. Luckily, to counterbalance that, there are also some full vision goggles which will light up the entire room. So it's a nice balance. It's a map which I find not too difficult on the best of days, and it's one that I usually keep coming back to. Number 8, Metal, TNT, Evolution, Final Doom. So this is another entry from Final Doom, but this time it's from TNT Evolution. Specifically, it's the map Metal. So Metal is another one of those maps, just like I said in Refueling Base in the previous entry, that isn't too difficult when you first look at it, but it is, for me, pretty fun to play. Also, it has one of the best songs I think in the whole Doom franchise, but that might be a list for another day, making like the best Doom soundtracks. Anyway, so yes, the way this works is you start underground and you eventually make your way up into a giant room full of soldiers, imps and chain gunmen. Now, the reason I actually finds this map quite intriguing is because the end is actually quite difficult, because if you're not paying attention, the chain gunman will mow you down. So for me, like for most of the level, it's actually just a matter of remembering where certain things are and trying to stay out the chain gun's way. Number 7. Slayer, the Plutonia Experiment, Final Doom. So this is another entry from the Plutonia Experiment, but this one is Slayer. So this one has actually a little bit of history behind this level, because for the longest time this was, well, I don't know if it still is, but this was my older brother's favourite level. And I remember just watching him just trying to beat Slayer as hard as he could. So eventually that kind of got me trying to do the same thing. And yeah, it became quite a long running thing actually playing Slayer, because it's not an easy map to play, even on the easiest difficulty, because you've got Archfields, you've got Arachnotrons, you've got Revenants, you've got Mancubus. It's quite a tough level, and most of the time I end up dying before I could get to the final end game. So it's quite a challenging level, but it's quite rewarding to complete it when I make it to the end. And yeah, it's one I always seem to end up back at, no matter how many times I die at it. Number 6. Icon of Sin, Doom 2. So, in the modern era, we may have had a reboot for certain Doom creatures, but there will only be one Icon of Sin. So, the original, of course, is the one which faces you when you teleport into a room, and it tells you to beat the game, you need to defeat me, John Romero, backwards. This was also one of the first true great Easter eggs, because of course if you no-clips through the wall you could find John Romero's head in the back. And I actually think that's what got one of my videos demonetized, I think, just showing John Romero's head. So that was a bit weird. Anyways, yes, this level is always quite entertaining to play. It's not too hard on the easy difficulty if you get your aiming of the rockets right, but it's just fun to play one of the definitive Doom levels. Number 5. Wolfenstein, Doom 2. So by this point you may notice there's a little bit of a theme going on, which is that most of my favourite Doom levels come from Doom 2 and Final Doom. I don't know what it is, but for some reason Ultimate Doom just doesn't have as many fun maps as the other two. But don't worry, there is a Ultimate Doom map on this list. Anyway, going back to Wolfenstein. This is basically just kind of a bit of a retro theme, and it does have a bit more of a different feel than most of the Doom maps, mainly because it's not the classic Doom enemies. It's only this map and 32 of Doom 2 that have Wolfenstein enemies. But for me, I think 31 kind of edges out level 32, because this is more of a pure Wolfenstein map, because map 32 also features a Cyberdemon. And that's why personally I enjoy playing Wolfenstein this map more than Gross, which is the one after, because I think it creates a different feel than the traditional Doom maps, and that's why I usually keep coming back to it every so often. Number 4. Tower of Babel, Ultimate Doom. So, if you ask most people what they think is one of the greatest Doom maps of all time, they will immediately say Tower of Babel. Historically, this was the first time that we encountered the Cyberdemon, so that was always going to be quite high up on the list. So the way this works is, if you have it at the lowest difficulty, it's pretty much just a straight one-on-one fight between the Doomslayer and the Cyberdemon. And back in its day, I don't know how people reacted, but I suspect it must have been of, oh dear, I'm in trouble. But yes, if you're not careful, this Cyberdemon, even today, can still wipe the floor with you because of the way the map is designed. Because even though it's just one-on-one. The way the map works is actually not the easiest to kill the Cyber Demon at times because it's at awkward angles. So that's why this makes this a challenge, and it makes it still fun to play even years later. Number 3, Tricks and Traps, Doom 2. For me personally, this might be my favourite overall map layout on a Doom level. The way that it's designed is you can either just play it like really fast, or you could enjoy each room and like go through all of them. And in fairness, if you go through all the rooms, you are rewarded with some hidden secrets, such as a BFG in one of the rooms. But I'll let you figure that out for yourself. So the way the map works is you can either go into the Cyber Demon room, get the yellow key, go into the yellow key door, and then go into the red key door. That's simple. Or you can go in multiple doors, which has multiple weapons, which might be more handy in the future, in future maps, including, like I said, the BFG. And overall, I just like the way this map is designed because each room does have a unique feel about it. And because of that, that's why I always end up coming back to Tricks and Traps and trying out all the rooms every time. Taking the runners-up spot, at number 2 we have Go To It, the Plutonia Experiment, Final Doom. So this was always bound to be on this list because of 2 reasons. 1, how many times I've played it, and 2, just how difficult it is. I still stand by my comment saying this is the hardest Doom map ever created. Obviously modders, like custom modders, may have made like more insane maps, but original wise, this for me is still the hardest Doom map ever made. I mean, the amount of cyber demons, you've got the Spider Mastermind, you've got Arachnotrons, Archvils, Revenants, all over the place. It's just absolutely crazy to think that anyone going into this was expecting that. Yes, so the Go To It map is one of the craziest maps. Also features one of my favourite songs of all time, shared with Tower of Babel. But yes, this map is definitely insane, and I still come back to it because it's very satisfying to complete this map. However, there is one other map in the Doom franchise which I feel like is, well, I can't ignore, is my favourite map ever made. Number 1, Pharaoh, TNT, Evolution, Final Doom. When I look back at the entries on this list, there's multiple reasons why they could be on this list, whether it be the soundtrack, or whether it be the layout design, or whether it be history. For me, Pharaoh nails down all 3. Growing up, I was fascinated by Egyptian culture, and this list is kind of Egyptian based, so that is definitely a plus there. Second, the layout of the map is pretty good because you have to go through different areas, and at the end, eventually you get a floating platform of either Revenants or Cyber Demon if the difficulty is higher. And third, soundtrack wise, it has, for me, my personal favourite soundtrack in Doom history. Legion of the Lost. I love listening to this track. It is so good for me. Because it has a mixture of like Doom, but it sounds like Egyptian. So that's why I really like this track. And yeah, I've played this map countless times over the years, even despite the fact that in the original version, it actually has a glitch where the yellow key is actually missing. Just like I mentioned at the start of the video, where the yellow key is bugged in the original Cyberden. But yes, this map, I'll never get old of Pharaoh. I've played this so many times, and for me, it is hands down my favourite classic Doom map.